that part of human nature seems to be that we stand forward and grow when life is challenging. You would think that we would have enough smarts to grow when life is going well, but it just doesn't seem to be that way. It seems that we move most when we're shaken up. And certainly I think you would all have to admit that world events are such today that a lot of things are being shaken up. There are some USM speakers who have recognized this, and I asked my friend Neil Donald Walsh about it not too long ago, and this is what he wrote back. He said, "We're living in a time of great uncertainty regarding the economy, the environment, world leadership, global health, family concerns, and personal finances. What a splendid time to be a student at USM." And then there was Gene Houston, who spoke right here in Royce Hall as a graduation speaker several years ago, and said, USM is creating a model of what education could be, should be, and in fact has to be. Why would she say that? Why would she and Neil both say things like that? Well, both of them are aware, and we speak from our personal relationship with them, that we're in a very unique time in human history. There is what we refer to at USM as an evolutionary impulse that is flooding onto the planet at this time. It happens about every 2,000 years or so. Evolutionary impulse flooding onto the planet. The way that it manifests is that something struggling is being born in the midst of something that is dying. And so we see a lot of things going on in the world that seem like they're just falling apart, which, to my way of thinking, is just part of the dying process. Personally, I'm not all that interested in that as I am in the what's being born. And that's what USM is about. What's being born is taking a different direction from the way that most of us have been raised up until this point in human history. I was going to say it's as if, but it's not. It's as if. It's that the definition of success in the world is changing. The very definition of what it means to be successful on planet Earth is changing. It used to be largely about earning a living and having a good life, and a decent life. The evolutionary impulse is bringing forward the possibility of living a fulfilling life regardless of the level of material success that one achieves during their lifetime. And yes, at USM, we do value success in the world. And while we do learn skills about being more successful in the world, that's not what we excel at. What we excel at is learning that what's truly valuable in life is available to every one of us every minute of every day. So let me share a personal example of what is the kind of thing that is being born in the world, so you get a flavor for what I'm talking about. So, I don't know, most of you probably are not aware that on November 10th of last year, but who's keeping track? I experienced a triple bypass heart surgery. And while I was recuperating, probably within several months of that process, I received I received hundreds of cards and get well wishes, for which I'm very, very, very grateful. But of all of those, I only kept one. I brought that with me here today because I thought you might like to see it. It came in an envelope, and when I opened it up, this is what I found. These are all hand-cut pieces of paper that was obviously formed out of some kind of template. There's 19 of them, and they're just filled with hundreds of well wishes. And it came with this message on the front. Dearest Ron, well, as much as you use your heart, I can see why you would need a tune-up. I hope and pray you are feeling better. There are many of us here who love and appreciate all you have given us. We are sending our love and light. And it's signed, Love Always, Christiane.
Oh.
I'm thinking, where did this come from? You know, was it one of the classes? Was it a group of grads who got together? Where did this come from? And then I realized where it came from when I looked at the return address on the envelope. Christiane is an inmate at Valley State Women's Prison, where USM has been doing a service project for the past 6 years going on 7. Each of the times we go, we work with approximately 300, thereabouts, inmates, and we bring up a team of at least 50 people to do it. We work with them over a 3-day period. So I met Christiane because I was up at the prison. And I can tell you that this is a woman who is living a fulfilled life. Even though she knows full well she may never be released from Valley State Women's Prison. You get the sense of what I'm talking about. Success and fulfillment, regardless of life circumstances. Typically at USM, we work with attempting to answer what we call 3 essential questions, none of which really have to do, well, hardly have to do with what we do in the world from a material standpoint. Who am I? What is my purpose in being here? And how can I utilize that purpose to make a meaningful contribution in the world? What this all boils down to is that if you want to really learn how to live a truly fulfilling life in harmony with the evolutionary impulse that is being brought forward, you will learn to see life from a different perspective that we refer to as seeing through soul-centered eyes. And we refer to the context that that goes on in as spiritual reality. To live in harmony with this impulse, of course, you'll also find yourself opening your heart, becoming a more compassionate, caring, considerate, respectful, and kind of person. The single word that seems to include all of these qualities is loving. You become a more loving person. That's what we do at USM. We learn to be more loving. We learn how to see through soul-centered eyes and how to be effective in the context of spiritual reality. It's not necessarily an easy thing because most of the world doesn't view it that way. But that is what makes USM unique. Personally, I see this as very good news. Because if you think about it, it's amazing to realize that the true source of your happiness and your fulfillment lies not in what you do, but inside your own heart. You just need to learn how to access, go to that place inside. I don't know, I think that's wonderful news myself. Because you see what that means, and that's consistent with the evolutionary impulse, is that true happiness and fulfillment is available to everyone, regardless of any circumstances, regardless of any situations.